I want to talk about a subject that isn't exactly Catholic theology. It's more on the mystical edges of it. Not quite Gnostic, but, you know, playing around in that environment. And it has to do with the third eye, the pineal gland. René Descartes, brilliant philosopher and mathematician, said that the pineal gland was the principal seat of the soul. Right there. And that's really interesting. This man was Catholic, so it's not like he was trying to undercut Catholic teaching in any way. He was a brilliant philosopher, if you've ever read his Meditations, where he talks about how you can't trust your senses. You could look at an oar in the water and it looks like it's broken in half because of the reflection of the water, right? Therefore, you can't trust your senses. That's where he came up with the famous line, "I think, therefore I am." He reduced all his senses down to the one thing that he could be certain of, and that is that he is a thinking being. As long as he's thinking, he must exist. But it's also interesting in the terms of religion, because when he says, "I think, therefore I am," it's also suggesting, if we take "I am" to mean God, which is the name of God according to his own name, Yahweh, I am that I am. So the great I am, I think, therefore I am, our existence is based directly on God. I think, therefore I am. Descartes was so brilliant that he's the one who connects arithmetic to geometry with what we know today as the Cartesian plane with the x and y axes. He did that. That's how brilliant his mind works. So when he says that the principal seat of the soul is the pineal gland, not that we have to believe him, but we should at least listen and, take time to maybe ruminate on that thought and think, is that true? What evidence do I have that that's true? Well, what do we know about the pineal gland in just sheer scientific terms? What does science say the pineal gland does? It says that it's responsible for producing melatonin. Melatonin is what helps us sleep. Sleep is what repairs our body, gives us back our energy, and also, as we know, allows us to dream. Dreams, for many cultures over thousands of years, have always pointed to something deeper, something more spiritual. And we see that clearly in the Bible. We have Joseph in the Old Testament, the dreamer, right? And we also have Joseph in the New Testament, the surrogate father of Christ on earth, who had the dreams to escape to Egypt to save baby Jesus, the dream to come back. We had the wise men who dreamed not to go back through Herod, to find another way to return home. Dreams are important, and like we just said, science says that the pineal gland is what's responsible for melatonin, and the melatonin obviously is responsible for the dreams. And dreams are a spiritual connection, or at least they can be a spiritual connection to God. It's something deeper than our regular, natural, awake, conscious self would otherwise grant us. The veil's thinner when we're sleeping. There's the old saying, sleep is the cousin of death, right? It's like we're going to a different realm when we dream. Anyone who has practiced meditation in the past knows that when you're really deep involved in the meditation, when you're truly at ease and at peace, you do feel your third eye throb. It's like activated. You can feel it. At least I can. And I notice the same thing happens to me when I pray the Rosary. Why does it happen when I pray the Rosary? I'm not doing some Eastern Buddhist third eye thing. I'm praying to God. I'm praying to Mary to go to her Son, Jesus Christ. I'm praying to the Catholic God, the Trinitarian triune God. And my third eye throbs. But nowhere in Catholic theology is this brought up, mentioned ever. In fact, if anything, it's pushed aside and verboten because it's Eastern, as all Eastern things should. I'm not talking about any bringing together or coalescing of other religions. No. Catholicism is the one true church on earth. Period. End stop. Eucharistic miracles prove that. There's no need to go any further. It's that clear. But we can go further, but that's not what this video is about. The point is, what is the deal with the third eye? And even Jesus talks about the eye, this mysterious, elusive eye. He says the eye is the lamp of the body, so if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? So he doesn't say eyes. He's not talking about vision. He's talking about eye, more of an internal spiritual vision. Was Descartes onto something? He might have been. He was brilliant. He was Catholic. In no way am I trying to change Catholic theology or dogma. I don't want to do that. But if this is within that dogma, I think we should recognize it, because I don't know if it's opposed to it or not. Like I said at the beginning of this is on the periphery of Catholic theology, on the mystical edges, not quite into Gnosticism, because I'm not saying that Jesus is only internal, or he was speaking all metaphorically about the internal inner light and all that. No. Jesus was very external, bodily. He rose bodily when he was resurrected. Thomas put his fingers in the holes on the hand, the rib, the side. He felt the wounds. It had to be a bodily resurrection. This is not some figurative, ethereal notion. No. This is literal. But the literal can have multiple layers to it, is my point. It's also interesting that the largest pine cone monument sculpture we have on Earth is located in the Vatican. Do they know something? Are they not telling us something? And I'm not into Vatican secrets and all that, because the Pope's our guy. The line of St. Peter, yes. Pope. You talk, Catholics listen. Period. This is the line of succession. Again, not trying to undercut the Vatican in any way. For you guys. Keep doing it. I want to get the corrupt elements out, if there are corrupt elements, which I think there are. The modernists, the humanists, the secularists. Yeah, if any of those have infiltrated the church, be gone. We want the tradition. The Pius X Catholics. The traditional Latin Mass Catholics. The Novus Ordo can be okay, but it has to be completely reverential. No more wearing jeans, t-shirts, and stuff to church. Dress up. Treat it with reverence. The same reverence that the Latin Mass strives for and achieves. They can do it. Novus Ordo can do it. I'm not opposed to Novus Ordo. Fully. Although there's a lot of problems. Has to be more reverential. Even there'll be announcements and clapping after church. No, there's no clapping in church. Stop it. This is not for the people. That's the problem. If we're talking about problems with Vatican II, that's the problem with Vatican II. It's more geared towards people and acceptance. No. Church is not about that. It's about God. It's about worshiping God. The reason the Latin Mass has it right is they're facing the tabernacle. God. That's what makes more sense. Don't cater to the people. The people? What do the people know? This isn't about the people. This is about God. People are everywhere. People are outside the church. In the church, it's about God. We believe, because of the Eucharist, that Jesus is present in the tabernacle. We should all face that way, priests included. It's a worship of God, not a catering to the people. But again, I digress. It's not about that. The point is if there is something to this third eye, pineal gland, melatonin causing, dream producing, spiritual connection, peace inside of us that might connect to our soul, as one of the most brilliant Catholics said, let us take a moment to at least consider the possibilities and ramifications of that. Let us, sometimes embrace Catholic mysticism. Look for that deeper secret. Not everything is always going to be explicit. Even Jesus tells us that. As Jesus says to his apostles, to you it has been given to know the secrets or mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. Matthew 13:11. It's not for everybody to know this stuff, but for those of us who are truly connected, or at least try to be truly connected to God, praying our rosary daily and going to church every week and holy days of obligation and talking about God daily and reading his word and all the other things we do to build our relationship with Christ, we feel something deeper. That throbbing of the third eye when I pray the rosary, there's something there. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what it is. And as for my dreams, I have dreams that do seem to tell me something more than what I would know in this world. And it does have to do with my world. It's not just a bunch of random things put together that make no sense. No, there's a message there. Sometimes it's not always clear, but there's a message there. And I believe when you are in your best place with your relationship with God, the messages are pure and they're good. And they tell you what path to follow, which way you should go. So listen, pay attention to your dreams. They're important. They just might come from the principal seat of the soul.